It's Monday, April 14th.
It's just gonna trickle down. Less hours, less people spending money.
Tough times. Hundreds are out of work in Ingersoll, Ontario this morning as the town's GM plant begins a temporary shutdown. It is expected to affect every industry in town.
You get fighters that stand up for the North, that fight for the North, and that deliver for the North.
2 weeks until Election Day. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh making his pitch to voters in Northern Ontario, hoping to defend a pair of seats his party has held for decades. Singh will join us live in studio later this morning.
I think there was a lot of unnecessary damage for sure because they were rifling through cupboards and drawers and shelves.
Windows broken, equipment damaged, cash stolen. 2 Ottawa small businesses trying to pick up the pieces after they were targeted in overnight break-ins.
I gotta go get a green jacket.
Get that green jacket. After more than a decade of heartache and close calls, Rory McIlroy finally slips on, look at him, the green jacket. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Canada, and welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend.
I'm Kelsey McEwen. Happy Monday. Hopefully for you, this is a short week. I know my kids are going into this week saying 4-day week, 4-day week.
Yeah, that's right.
Week. Yeah, woo, woo. 4-day week indeed. I like that. Let's bring that energy into the week. All right, let's turn to the top news stories we're following today. And we'll begin with some difficult news out of Ingersoll, Ontario. Their GM plant is temporarily shutting down production as of today.
Everything that we have here, from the coffee shops to a grocery store, we have a new one under construction. These things are all planned with those jobs in mind.
The General Motors Kami assembly plant employs 1,200 people. Their mayor says the shutdown will send shockwaves through every industry in the town. Nearly 500 workers are now off the job indefinitely. Limited production at the plant will continue until May. There will then be a full shutdown until October, but it will reopen with reduced capacity. These layoffs are not because of U.S. tariffs, but rather because of slowing demand for their Bright Drop electric vehicles. Unifor Local 88 is calling the news devastating. And U.S. President Trump warns a tariff exemption for some electronics made in China will not last long.
Like we did with steel, like we did with automobiles, like we did with aluminum, which are now fully on. We'll be doing that with semiconductors, with chips, and numerous other things. And that'll take place in the very near future.
So the Trump administration on Friday announced smartphones and computers made in China would be exempt from the 125% tariffs. China is where Apple makes most of its iPhones. Yesterday, however, President Trump and the U.S. Commerce Secretary both suggested tariffs on semiconductor chips are coming soon. After pulling back on baseline tariffs on much of the world last week, President Trump wrote on social media yesterday, quote, "Nobody is getting off the hook for unfair trade balances." That electronics tariff exemption may be short-lived, but it was enough to give overnight markets a boost.
Markets are looking like they're taking that positively, and they've started the route, on an upswing here to start us off on the week. Where we land between now and the end of the week, nobody knows.
The markets in Asia and Europe are rallying as of this morning, with share prices rising for tech companies. Pre-markets are up on Wall Street as well, with both the Dow and the Nasdaq futures in the green. This all comes on the heels of one of the most volatile trading weeks on record last week. Stocks, of course, saw massive drops and huge rallies as markets reacted to news on tariffs. Despite the slight bounce back, the Dow and Nasdaq, as well as the TSX, have all fallen sharply since reciprocal tariffs were introduced. Well, with 2 weeks until Election Day, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is accusing Liberal leader Mark Carney of hiding from the campaign trail.
Mr. Carney refuses to tell Canadians what investments he continues to own or even where he pays his taxes.
In Ottawa Sunday, Poilievre promised to tighten financial transparency rules for elected officials. He's calling for increased accountability standards, including for political advisors, as well as for more tax transparency for people seeking political office. Polyev also appeared on the popular French language show Tout le monde en parle, that's Sunday, where he tried to differentiate himself from the perception that he's a, quote, mini Trump. Meanwhile, Liberal leader Mark Carney spent a third day away from official events on the campaign trail on Sunday, although he did also appear on Tout le monde en parle as well. The party is defending Carney from attacks on his potential conflicts of interest, saying he pays income taxes and has always followed all the rules as a tax-paying resident of Canada. His French will be tested again Wednesday in the French language leaders' debate.
People in the North often feel like, we don't matter because people don't give us that attention. That's wrong. The North matters. And New Democrats have always shown that we are strong voices for the North.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh launched a platform for Northern Ontario Sunday. He's promising more doctors from and for the area, as well as making changes to the Nutrition North food program and improving roads. They'll be hoping to hold seats in the area. Both of the party's longtime members of parliament in that region are not running again. And voting is now open at 100 college and university campuses across the country. This all part of an outreach effort from Elections Canada to young voters. But it's not just students who can cast their ballots. On-campus voting is open to all Canadians. Voters showing up must bring ID and proof of address. Campus polling stations are open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. through Wednesday. Advanced voting also starts on Friday. Well, police in Ottawa are investigating after 2 businesses were targeted in break-ins over the weekend.
A large window had been smashed, and that our cash drawers had been smashed, and our office had been ransacked, and there was a lot of broken glass everywhere.
The businesses affected were the Red Apron, which is a local grocery, and Arlington 5, a cafe. Both are located in Ottawa's Centretown neighborhood. The owner of the Red Apron says there was thousands of dollars worth of damage, a big financial hit for a small business. And the owner of Arlington 5 says a suspect was found by police in the basement of her cafe. She's also found cash missing and damage inside. Ottawa police are not saying if the break-ins are related, and no charges or arrests have been confirmed. Well, Sunday at Augusta was building toward a dramatic finish, starting with this putt for Rory McIlroy to win the Masters. McIlroy's par putt slides left, sending him to a playoff with Justin Rose. Rose put on a clinic on Sunday to put himself back in contention, while McIlroy had an up-and-down round in danger of letting the chance slip away. In the first playoff hole, McIlroy would put his approach in birdie range, setting up another chance at victory.
The long journey is over. McIlroy has his masterpiece.
There it is. Wow. So Rory lets it all out after making that putt. After 11 years of trying, he finally has his green jacket and the career Grand Slam. He's only the 6th male golfer to win all 4 golf majors. Corey Connors was the top Canadian finish, tied 8th at 5 under.